account. I came here to do this for real. Why would I want to trade with fake money? You guys ever thought that? Yeah, that means you blew a lot of accounts too. When the external stimulus is present, you don't learn as well. If I'm learning how to shoot a free throw in a basketball game at the game-winning free throw, I don't learn. If I'm playing football or soccer and I'm practicing those penalty kicks by myself, I'm learning. But if I only practice a penalty kick when it counts for the entire World Series or the entire game, the chances are the pressure's so high that you're not actually learning, you're just reacting out of emotions. And what I realized was for 2.5 years, I was trying to learn under the pressure of that stimulus. I was trying to learn how to escape a fire in the fire while I was getting burned. And I never realized the reason why we practice, the reason why we do things is so we build up those neural linkages. We build up that capacity to be able to understand what to do when that stimulus is present. Now, in the last 7 years, I've seen a lot of traders rise and fall. I've seen a lot of leaders rise and fall. I've seen a lot of companies around the world rise and fall, economies rise and fall. And what I've realized is that the success or failure of someone is dependent on how they react during a crisis. A crisis is when the market starts going against you as soon as you went ahead and entered the market. A crisis is when your stop loss gets hit and you decide to whether stop trading for the day or follow your rules or keep going because the market owes you something. And successful people, they realize that a time of crisis is their ability to get ahead. You know, I used to think as a demo account, trading journal, all these things as a chore until I realized that that's not a chore, that's a cheat code. Everyone say cheat code.
Cheat code.
What other people think is a chore, I understand as a cheat code. Because if you're able to focus on the mundane, or if you're able to focus on the simple, then what happens when you're in the market is really easy. So I want to ask you here today, how do you respond in a crisis? When things aren't going your way in the markets, when things aren't going your way in your personal life, when things aren't going your way in your business, if things are not going in the direction that you thought, how do you respond? And it's how you respond that's going to determine how far you're going to go. The best traders I know, they don't react when they win a trade. They don't react when they lose a trade. Because they're not focused on the outcome, they're focused on the discipline. Do you think Lionel Messi is focused on how many goals he's going to score, or you think he's focused on taking the open shot every time he has it? We got to focus on the smaller things so we can understand the bigger picture. So I want you to write this down. Practice without pressure. Everyone say pressure.
Pressure.
Practice without pressure means I'm going to practice in my lonesome. I'm going to practice when no one's looking, and I'm going to act as if, because when the real time happens, I need to know how to react. I need to have my muscles trained. The more intense the crisis in which you learn, the less you learn. So you want to make sure before you go ahead and enter that first live trade, you got that demo account on lock. You know how it works when your stop loss gets hit. You know how it works when your take profit gets hit. You know how to react. If you don't do that, when it happens, you don't know how to react. Number 2 is going to be react with positive aggression. You know, I was taught that if you react with aggression, it could be bad, that you might do the wrong thing. But what I realized is, in order for me not to over leverage, in order for me not to over trade, I have to be aggressive. I just got to be aggressive in the opposite direction as I was before. You see, we don't change emotions here inside of I Am Academy. I'm not here to teach you how to change your emotions, but what I'm here to teach you is how to choose which emotion gets reinforcement. You have an opportunity, your stop loss gets hit, you have 2 emotions. I don't know what I'm doing. My stop loss got hit. I'm losing. The market's going against me. I'm not good at this. This thing's not going to work. Trading, Or you have positive aggression and you say, my stop loss got hit. You know what? I'm not gonna enter another trade. I'm gonna do what these educators told me to do. I'm gonna actually sit out and just not do anything because they told me if I get in, then I'm gonna act emotionally, and if I do that, I can lose my account, and it's just not the right thing to do. You see, you can be aggressive in either direction. You gotta choose which direction you're gonna be aggressive in. I choose positive aggression. When I look at my goals, I choose to look at it and say, you know what, I'm gonna be assertive, I'm gonna be aggressive, not to the things that I don't want to happen, but to the things that I do. And lastly is don't make a mountain out of a molehill. What does that mean? Don't make a big thing out of a small thing. A lot of us, we end up, how many of you guys, let me ask you a question. How many of you guys have lost a trade in a day? And if you would have stopped trading, you would have been okay. But since you made a really big deal out of that lost trade, and you're like, I gotta get the markets back, you kept trading, and you actually did way more damage than you wanted to because you wanted to do good so bad. Raise your hand if that's you. We're all guilty. You see, sometimes we're our worst enemy. Actually, all the time, we're our worst enemy. So I want to go over what is a winning trade in trading. How did I have to change my mindset to understand the difference between winning and losing in the world and the difference between winning and losing in trading? Write this down. Surprise. A win in trading is actually a small loss. Jason, Jay, you're crazy. You're telling me that a loss is a win? You went to that convention, you got brainwashed. They convinced you that a loss is a win. But if you follow your trading plan, if you understand that you have to follow a trading plan and your stop loss gets hit and that's all that happened, you won. Everyone say win. Win. If your stop loss gets hit and you follow your trading plan and you stop trading for the day and you come back another day and then you crush it, you actually won. You didn't lose. What's another win in trading? When you're trading to break even. That's not a loss. That's not, oh, I should have closed out or, oh, I should have taken money off the table. No. If your trade hits break even, that means you protected your trade. You followed your risk management plan. You won. It just didn't go in your favor that day. And lastly is going to be, lastly is going to be small win and a big win. When does a small win happen? Maybe you have a 1 to 3 risk to reward. That's a good small win. Maybe you have a take profit 2 at 1 to 10. That's a big win. Those are wins. Before we switch over to our live account, I always recommend for our newest students to do 50 winning trades on demo. Logging their trades, showing me, their mentor, or whoever their personal sponsor is, hey, you know what, look, I took 50 trades on my demo. Look it, I did a small loss. I didn't over leverage, that's a win. And what you're doing as you launch someone is you're teaching them, hey, a loss is a win. I want you guys to read this with me. Trading is learning to lose in order to win. Let's do it together. Trading is learning to lose in order to win. That was the hardest lesson that took me a lot of time, effort, and money to learn. All of the educators that are going to grace this stage today are here because you don't have to go through those same pain. You don't have to go through those same lessons. Albert Einstein has a quote, he says, geniuses learn from the mistakes of others and average people learn from their own mistakes. Which one are you going to be today? Are you going to be the genius or the average? Let me hear it. Genius. Genius. You're going to learn from the mistakes of others. That's why you traveled here. That's why you sacrifice here. Make sure when you leave this event, you implement what you learned so that way you can have an ROI and you can start operating like a business owner. Ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. Thank you so much. Let's go.